This is the one that I think your generation is going to have more problems with than mine did, and that's the fifth one I call think independently. And then act independently. I was in the legislature with a leadership title, following leadership rules, but chose to think and act differently than my leadership at the time. Let me just tell you, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do something that was contrary to what my leadership was doing, but more importantly, it was contrary to what I believed I should be doing. And what I found out as a result of doing that is that it was the exception and not the rule, and I challenge your generation to make sure that it becomes the rule and not the exception, to think and act independently. This one, sixth one, I like. It's having a sense of humor. You know, life is so short. You're never going to get out of it alive. You might as well enjoy what you have. I mean, if you cannot laugh at yourself, and trust me, I have had to laugh at myself so many times whether I like it or not. Case in point, I took my wife and kids on a vacation. We were taking a trip. I'd saved up all my frequent flyer miles. We were going to celebrate our anniversary. We were celebrating my one son's graduation from high school. We were going to cruise the inside passage of Alaska. We'd already been to 48 continental states, which was going to be our 49th state. We were going back to Seattle. I was going to get there a day and a half early. We were going to do the Hurricane Ridge. We were going to do all this stuff. We get to the airport. I'm booking it. I'm getting them to get out of the car. I got my secretary who's dropping us off. She takes off, and I'm over there with a sky cap, and I'm giving him our tickets, and he goes, "I can't help you." "You can't help me. I didn't go." He says, "You're at the wrong airport." Now, my family had pretty much listened to me all day get ready, like a drill sergeant wanting them to get on the move. Now, we spent some time in that airport before we went back home, unpacked, and after a while laughed about it. Left the next day and made it to Seattle out of the right airport. But you got to laugh at yourself. You see, you got to make sure that whatever, one thing that really caught me as an example of being able to laugh at yourself is knowing that God has a sense of humor. And I realized that in the election of Scott Brown, that not only did God work in mysterious ways, but that he has quite a sense of humor. Because when you look at that election and you see that there were 11% registered Republicans there, replacing the man who was the icon of universal health care, it kind of makes you think, maybe we weren't going in the right direction. So you got to laugh at yourself. And the last two are kind of intertwined together. One is humility. The seventh one I call is humility. Let me tell you, humility, humility, humility. It is such a rare quality. And I would love to say that I exercise it routinely, but I can't because it is one of the hardest things to really shine with. It's the ability to ignore boastfulness and arrogance. It's the ability to let anger and frustration remove yourself, challenge yourself with understanding and empathy, and humility comes in. I'm reminded of the guys that would catch the football in the end zone and dance all around, and I think it was Lou Holtz went over and one of his guys did that and he said, no. Next time you give the ball back to the ref and act like you've been there before. Show some humbleness in what you're able to do because you have God-given talents to do it. And you're going to have another chance and another chance to do it. I want to dance too. And the last thing, the last attribute of leadership that I want to leave with you is what I think is very important. And that's understand that you have a divine purpose. But there is a higher being, and in my case, it's Christianity. And as you go about what you do, you may question as to why you're there. But if you firmly believe in those attributes that I talked about, God will guide you. I've been living proof of that in so many times in my life where I understand that but for the grace of God, I should not be where I am today. But never lose sight of that. And I challenge you to be the leaders that this country will need you. Because what we have before you, as Benjamin Franklin had said so long ago, is that we're giving you a republic if you can keep it. And I hope we keep it long enough for you to have it. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for allowing me. Any questions? I'll be happy to take them. and happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.